But even apart from that, and looking back on what Redick did or did not do, there were other things that affected them too. One of which being Luka Doncic being tripped, or I guess not tripped depending on your viewpoint. But technically by rule it really shouldn't have mattered. It should have been a foul call. If an offensive player is tripped or falls from the defender kind of leaning against them, it's gonna be a foul call 99% of the time. And well, here's what JJ Redick and Luka Doncic had to say about it, and if they plead that Luka was tripped.
What was your vantage point on the inbound that was a turnover?
Well, let's just start with Luka got tripped. I mean, that was a blatant trip. He doesn't just fall on his own. We watched it. You know, he gets tripped. So we should have been at the free throw line. You know, that's not an excuse for why we lost, but we got fouled, and you know we had a chance to go up.
JJ said he thought you were tripped in the final minute. What was your, kind of take on that sequence?
What do you think? I got tripped or no?
I honestly didn't have a great vantage point from where I was sitting. So.
Oh, I think I got tripped for sure. So, we had to call timeout.
Well, according to those two, there is not much of a debate here. Luka Doncic was in fact tripped, Jaden McDaniels should have been called for a foul but was not called for a foul, and the Lakers should have not been forced to spend a timeout, which eventually became their final timeout. And technically by rule they are correct, even with Luka Doncic maybe tripping on his own here. Not really much of a blatant foul by McDaniels, but any contact leading to a trip is an automatic defensive foul on the defender. And go figure, it's already been confirmed that they made the wrong call here, with the NBA putting out a report saying that McDaniels did foul Luka, with the official comment saying that McDaniels steps forward into Luka's foot, initiating a legal foot contact that caused Luka to fall and lose his balance. And like I said, that led to a second controversial call and an ultimate loss of timeouts for the Lakers. Shortly thereafter, LeBron not being called for a foul, but then it being reversed, being called a foul on LeBron from a camera angle that I've literally never seen before. A top end view that showed LeBron hitting part of the ball, but also part of Ant's hand and wrist, which LeBron later argues is part of the ball, hand being part of the ball, and it's normally called that way, so he might have a point about it.
Absolutely. I mean, that play happens all the time. Hand is part of the ball. That's what they say. And, I feel like the hand was a part of that ball. I was able to get his hand on top of the ball stripped down and out on him. So I've seen that play over and over before, but it is what it is.
I mean, you really can't blame him for that. If you played officiated basketball before and by legitimate referees, I imagine you've been told exactly what LeBron said there, aka hands part of the ball. LeBron's probably been told that countless times, and for whatever reason, now all of a sudden it did not become true. Yes, LeBron did hit Ant's wrist and hand, but also hit the ball there as well. And on that kind of play, 9 times out of 10 or 99.9% of the time, the refs usually let that go and that's the play on, especially during the late fourth quarter. And I really hate complaining about refs or individual foul calls like that, but with how many people say that the Lakers get a favorable whistle and that they get helped by the refs all the time, you really can't point to that and say that in this playoff series or especially during the fourth quarter of this game. I mean, the Wolves have had significantly more advantage in my opinion, maybe not from an individual foul call standpoint, but with the way and how physical they play, not being called for as many fouls and not as many ticky-tack fouls compared to the Lakers, and it was pretty obvious in this game. Them directly winning the foul battle in this game, winning it during the fourth quarter, and ultimately that helping them greatly in my opinion.